Sasha, who we've had all tournament long, doing very well in Kano. We've got Zach Bunn on Briar. Zach is going to be my champion this round. I'm taking the side of Briar.
Oh, I'm definitely taking Kano here.
Well, we're no longer friends.
Well, I will say this. I like both of these people. I think they're both great people.
They're both great people, but
and now
we are
Sasha
in the
needs
arena
to light Zach on fire.
Oh, that's not happening. Briar's going to attack 4 times a turn. You heard me. 4 times a turn.
Actually, that is a very real possibility. And look at this. A Null Rune Robe being played. We have Null Rune Robe. We have the Crown of Dichotomy. Both of those and the Vexing Quill Hand. AB3 on the table. People have AB? What is this?
Yeah, this is like why we've been talking about tournaments so much, about why Kano was a pretty good choice for a lot of these people. Is some people have been skimping on the Arcane barrier. Zach Bunn's not one of them.
Now, this is going to be interesting because what it also means is that you have to know your blue count. As Zach, you need to know your blue count because if you don't know how many blues you have in your deck at any given moment, you can't actually take and make use of the 3 Arcane barrier.
So this looks like we're going to start off, what is that, an activation of Crucible into a Lesson in Lava?
Yes, this is Crucible, Lesson in Lava for 4. It's the classic play. You have to Crucible, Lesson in Lava in this matchup because of AB3. If you don't do this, you can't actually go and search.
Is that all you got, Kano? That's not going to be enough to beat a Briar this round. Come on.
Oh, well, come now. He's going to pitch. He's going to stop 3 of it, and then the Kano player still just gets to go and actually search for anything they want. He's got 2 cards left in hand. If both of those are blue, then Sasha can literally just go find another Lesson in Lava or a Blazing Aether or a Tome of Aetherwind. Basically just throw a bunch of fire at Zach. I also want to point this out. Both Sasha and Zach are 9-3. This is like a rubber match in every sense. Yeah,
the winner of this is in a very good position to make top 8. The loser probably not going to be in contention for that top 8 anymore. I've heard people doing the, I wish I could hold up the sheet again, doing the math, getting ready for these top 8s. They think the X3 is going to make it in, and there's a chance that an X3 might not even. There might be 1 or 2 that don't make it in. We have to see how the tournament breaks down in the last few rounds.
This is one of my favorite lines in Wizard. Lesson in Lava into Lesson in Lava into Blazing Aether. You can even, if you have the resources, you can go Lesson into Lesson into Lesson into Blazing Aether. That's pretty spicy.
Doesn't look like that's what's going to happen here, though.
You know why? Because my man Sasha's got the Aether Wildfire in the arsenal already. Turn 0. He got the Aether Wild because he's just that good.
Well, I mean, he could have that. Let's see what my man Zach Bunn's got on this side. He's got a 4-card hand. I'm expecting some aggression to come out. Zach, don't let me down.
Well, here's the problem. How do you feel if you just start throwing out red cards and just jamming down attacks and then look at your hand and go, oh, I have 1 card, it's yellow, and my opponent has a full grip and is a wizard? You feel comfortable there?
I just cross my fingers, man, and attack him with everything I got. So let's hope Zach's a little bit better at that than I am. I'm sure he's experienced in this matchup, and he's going to be able to do what he needs to do to get this done because, as we know, Briar never loses.
Oh, is that right? Got the Cold Foil Briar Flex here. Also, I just want to point this out. Has all 3 tokens just ready to go. And starting off, wow, big with a Sonata.
Yeah, this is one of the sweet ones. Is he going to pay extra for this, or is this going to just be the Sonata for 0?
You can't pay extra because you're running Vexing for the AB.
Oh, you're right. Forgot about that.
Maybe he's trying to pay extra. How's he paying extra? That's very strange. Can't pay extra there. Oh, comes in, gets a Swarming Gloomveil off it. The Vexing Quill Hand here, you could pop the Vexing Quill Hand, and you could get 2 Rune Chants, and then you'd have it if you had Skeletor. But guess what? Skeletor doesn't exist anymore.
I think for the best,
swarming.
By the way.
You think for the best?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I do love myself a good Bloodsheath Skeletor. You can still play it in Blitz.
Sorry, all the Viserai fans at home. But anyway, speaking of the fans at home, everybody in Twitch chat, what side are you on in this matchup? Are you on the side of the stinky, fiery Kano, or are you on the side of good and Briar?
I'm sorry. That's
what, thinking of Briar as the good guy? Is that too much for you?
That's laughable, is what that is. Yeah. So the Sonata gets banished. It does send 1 arcane damage at Kano, by the way. That 1 arcane damage does come across. Embodiment of Lightning comes down from
off the Bramble Spark.
Yep. I don't see, did you see if this was fused, if this gives +3 or no?
I did not see it. I think it was not, but this does create a couple tokens, though, for the Swarming Gloomveil, or a token for the Swarming Gloomveil, so it will have Go Again naturally on the card now.
Sure. Swarming Gloomveil is pushing 3 Go Again at the current juncture. Didn't create any other auras this turn.
And this is where it kind of gets a little scary, right? If you're the Briar player, like you do go wide, right? You have a bunch of cards that you're playing all of your turns to help pump up your attacks, make your attacks really big, make your attacks really good. And this is what you have to do. This is your plan. And
Well,
like you said, when you get to the end of the turn, you don't have cards left over in your hand. That's what the Wizard wants.
That's right. Yeah, and you're totally fine taking 3 Go Again here. Now, the hit creates embodiment, but you've already cleared the Swarming Gloomveil. It's resolved, and so it doesn't have the third portion of the text there. So you don't have to worry about that. But then he pushes the 2/2 Rosetta, and the Rosetta pushes that damage over. Sasha says, yeah, that's fine. It resolves. Didn't get rid of anything from the hand. Didn't choose to block. Not trying to play with tempo at the end of opponent's turn. You want to keep, in this scenario, if you're Kano, you want to keep a lot of blues in hand so that you can Kano on your turn and possibly line up some big plays.
And for everybody at home that maybe hasn't played against Kano very much, that's not a typo. They are down to 17. You do
Oh
start
my
at 30
God.
life here.
Oh
boy.
Now the problem here is it's your turn as Sasha. Okay, chat. If you're with me, it's our turn. So this Wildfire actually just blanket 4. It doesn't actually have a secondary ability, and so you do choose to banish this because you want to play this and you want to do other stuff on your turn besides just being, this being stuck. You don't want to draw this necessarily because you've already arsenaled 1.
This would be me, by the way, if I was playing Briar. This would be like, look, I know what some of these cards do, and I know like a little bit, or I know half. Let me double check. And I can't blame Zach Bunn, who's way more experienced than I am.
Player.
Yeah, fantastic player. When you're playing against a deck like that's this complicated, does things at different weird timings, I would want to double check a lot of these cards as well.
Certainly.
Especially with how complicated some of these turns get. Like, just you ever play to get sat across from somebody playing this deck and you're trying to keep up with what they're doing? It's very difficult. He's like, I'm going to do this and
Usually
this
I'm the
and
one
this.
that's playing.
Yeah, usually
Kano,
you're the one doing the Kano things. I'm usually the one trying to be like, wait, hold on, slow down. Talk to me like, explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Kano players sometimes have to kind of walk things through it. It's funny. It's like you lock hands and you
we'll
walk
get there
through
together.
your death together.
Yeah.
So let me explain to you how you died. It begins with a card called Wildfire. And it's interesting. He has 3 AB. This is more than we've seen on table, on stream completely. And what is he going to do? Not pitch into it. Because, again, you have to know, as the Briar player, how many blues you have. And you don't have as many as a lot of these other decks that are out there. And so it's this weird moment like, yeah, I got the AB, but you know what? I'm still not going to pitch into it. I'm playing an aggro matchup. And look, we're throwing another lesson.
How many cards left? I think he just did the Jazz hands. He's like, I think I'm done.
I have Jazz hands cards in hand. He does have 2 resources floating. Doesn't have the Tunic up, though.
Now, from Zach Bunn's side, since you're the experienced Kano player, is this one of the cards that you pretty much always want to interact with if you have Arcane Barriers? Lesson Lava, one of the really scary ones?
Well, weirdly enough, at this point, it probably doesn't matter because you've seen in 2 turns that arsenaled cards stayed there. So it's either Tome of Fiendal, and the Tunic isn't up because you usually wait for Tome of Fiendal's play from Arsenal effect on a turn where you can Tunic trigger, pay for it, have like that crazy card hand. Or it's a Wildfire. And so knowing that the Arsenal hasn't moved and knowing that they don't have anything in hand and that they can't actually play off the top of their deck, you may just take it all. It's not going to matter. They're just going to put something else on top of their deck. But choosing here to pitch is also fine. It limits your options of things you can grab. It means that you can't grab Aether Spindle. But he's just going to grab Lesson in Lava number 3.
Yeah, it does look like this was a blue pitch, so it is going to prevent 3 here.
Yep.
Zach using this blue to gain 3 life pretty much this turn. And like you said, keep away some of those bigger, crazier options. Yeah, you get another Lesson in Lava. We'll do this dance again.
Yep, Lesson goes to the top. He's going to draw a Lesson alongside of 3 other cards. And see how this goes.
Yeah, we're back over to Zach and our beloved Briar player.
A 3-card hand. Zach deciding to maybe start with Arsenal. Now, another thing that happens, I've played a lot of Kano. Another thing that happens is people forget that they pitch on my turn. and then they pitch on their turn sometimes. And so just so you know, that Tome of the Arknight is currently at the bottom of the deck.
The dream! Even the reaction from Sasha.
He shoots for the 3.
Swish.
The sick 5 go again. It is the dream play.
So for everybody at home, that was a Ravenous Rabble. It reveals the top card of your deck, and it gets minus X power, X the pitch value of the card revealed this way. Luckily enough, that card doesn't have a pitch value.
There's no pitch value on Gorganian Tome, and so you get the disgusting 5 go again. That's not fair. Briar's not fair. I'm not rooting for Briar.
Zach Bunn takes it out from out of bounds, dribbles down court, pulls up for 3, and makes it!
And draws a card that can't be pitched to trigger AB next turn.
Oh, you can just turn it into another card and then turn that into AB.
Yeah, you got to wait for your turn to play it, though. You gotta wait. Come on. But you know what? I will say this. 5 go again for free. That's busted, man.
I didn't think I'd be able to do any NBA calls this weekend or any sports calls. Yeah, I was kind of excited. I got to put that one in. So thanks, Zach. Not only are you playing my hero, but you got my back. I really appreciate that. But I love seeing the camaraderie between the players and like they're having this is probably one of the most important matches they've ever played in their lives. But they're out here having fun still too.
Coming in with a burgeoning.
And this is
5.
from Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah. It comes for 6. No, it's a 4 and then gets buffed by 5.
Because this is a blue burgeoning, so it's going to be attacking for 5.
Yep.
So lots of damage coming over Sasha's way. That life total is getting pretty low.
Yep. But we know that there is one wildfire. The Tunic trigger's almost up. So you have Tunic resource floating.
Looks like we're going to go to the end of turn, and we're going to see Zach go ahead and Arsenal. Now, is Zach going to be pretty remiss to play the last card out of his hand in a lot of these turns just to make sure that he has at least some resources up?
I think it's very smart for you not to fully extend. I think what you have to do is have that 3-card attack, push damage that's just nasty, and then keep like a blue.
That's usually how I've been playing against Kanos. The few times I've done it is like if I have a blue and I don't necessarily need it for my turn, I've been kind of sandbagging it.
Ooh, now this is a good start. He's got, oh my God, are you kidding me? He hit a Gaze the Ages, then he hit a Tome. So he can go Tome, draw 2 cards, respond to it before the draw, and then Gaze the Ages to see the top, and then resolve the Gaze to the hand, and then draw 2 cards. He has 2 cards left in his hand. He hasn't chosen to block at all.
He does have that Tunic trigger, that Tunic counter as well, so there is an extra resource as well this turn.
Yeah, I think you almost always, unless you've got something crazy lined up, you almost always put that Tunic trigger onto your opponent's turn. You keep it, you float it over there, and then you just jam it out there. So let's see what he chooses to play out here. Deciding how to order this, he could play the Tome of Aetherwind, exactly what we were describing, and probably in response, they're holding priority. He is going to opt 2 with the Gaze the Ages. This is one of those weird, cool interactions that Kano players, we get to do. We get to play a Tome of Aetherwind, say we're going to draw 2 cards, play the Gaze in response before we actually draw the cards, look at what's on the top of the deck, finish Gaze, Gaze sees that Tome had been played, and so it comes back to the hand. Then we get to draw the cards we opted. Oh, and before the Tome resolves, he's going to Kano again, and he's going to Kano again, and then he's going to draw 2 cards. This is disgusting.
All right, I've lost count.
Yeah, he is on the train to Value Town, going to play out the Energy Potion. Because, again, Kano looks at the top of the deck. If it's a non-attack action card, which Energy Potions are, then you just get to put it out there.
I do want to play this out real quick. Look at the body language on Zach Bunn. This is every opponent ever.
Yep. That is like the Kano opponent. I have seen my good buddy Red Zone Rogue assume this posture as I randomly put cards onto the table, and then he lights on fire. Pitches a Blazing, throws the Voltic Bolt. Voltic Bolt for 6. I don't think he actually used his action point this turn, which is hilarious.
Yeah, still got some floating resources here.
All of this, everything you saw, ends with Voltic Bolt for 6.
Everything you saw goes down in flames.
I guess it ends with E-Pot and Voltic Bolt for 6. But you know what this does? It puts Zach under 30 life.
And is that about the range of where the Kano really has a pop-off turn?
30's tricky, but if you've
'Cause
got...
I've heard of 40+, but that's like living the dream.
Oh, that is the total dream. Winning the game, yeah, that's a total dream. But you need like energy potions, some ragamuffins hat tricks. You need the tunic resource. So basically, you need everything he has, and then yeah, you could get to 30.
Speaking of ragamuffins hat, Zach's gonna just familiarize himself with it.
Hey, let me see that cold foil. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is really cool cold foil.
Zach's definitely a purveyor of nice cards. You could appreciate that quite a bit.
Sitting there admiring the handiwork in his hand there. Yep, these are cards that I have. They exist. Do I decide to pitch? Again, if he's got a red heavy hand, which this deck does run a lot of generic reds, because they want to channel into large attacks, right? If he's got a red heavy hand, this is basically asking him, do you want to get rid of 2-3 cards just to stop a few points of damage?
It's such a hard decision to make, too. And
He's
it
just
does
gonna
look
take
like
it.
Zach's going to take it. I understand thinking about it for quite a while because every little point can count. Like you said, going down below 30, that's so dangerous, such a precarious spot in this. But also, you're looking at Sasha at 7.
Yeah.
So, like, the cards in your hand mean so much.
Yeah. Yep. It's so funny because this is a class and a hero that has access to Arcane Barrier that just can't actually, because of the way the deck and the archetype function, just can't actually afford to pitch into them. So it's like Kano sitting here at the Pro Tour, it's like, you guys over there, you're not bringing Arcane Barrier, but you could use it. You guys over there have Arcane Barrier to spare, but you don't have any resources. I'm just going to light everybody. Now, can Sasha do that from 7?
We'll have to see. Zach contemplating his turn here. How does he want to push this damage? Because he's got to be careful. He's walking a tightrope here. Yeah, you might be able to present 7 damage, but if you have no cards left in your hand while that's going on, that gives Sasha carte blanche to just try to go off and go nuts and do whatever. And it looks scary. Remember, there is that energy potion over here. We do have 3 counters on a tunic. There's a lot of resources with which to work with here.
Starts with a Yellow Whisper of the Oracle, which opts him 3 and goes again. We go again. He's got an arsenal card plus 3 card hand.
This does allow Zach to kind of set up his turn, this turn, and next turn if he wants to reveal any top cards, draw the extra cards. This is a non-attack action getting played as well as that Gorganian Tome. This is going to utilize that Whispers of the Oracle's Op 3. He knows what card he's drawing here. This is going to create an embodiment of lightning.
Now you have an opportunity here as Sasha to respond to the Gorganian Tome being played before the card resolution, before the draw card. At this moment, there's 2 cards in hand for Zach. He's going to draw a third here in a moment if he's allowed to. Sasha's thinking.
Would you go for it here? Would you start to try to go off? Because, like, what if it's a blue that's on top of his deck?
If he draws into a blue, is what you're saying? Yeah, no. There's definitely the point where you should you should at any moment you should consider pausing, holding priority, and seeing what you could do. Allowing a draw here and knowing that Zach knows what he's drawing is very important.
That's really scary, right?
And we knew that Gorganian Tome was in his hand on the prior turn when he revealed it to that sick reveal. But whether or not he's going to allow him to draw is the important, because Sasha says, hold on, just for a moment. I know it's your turn, but I may want to kill you. Pause, please. So I know you're rooting for Zach in this position because you're just a total Briar main. But how do you feel in this position in your spot?
I'm a little scared.
You feel scared?
I need an adult.
Ah, okay.
I mean,
I won't lie to you. If I were sitting in Sasha's position, I would, if he has a 4 blue hand, I would not be feeling as scared. But
it does look like it's time to go. All right, take it away.
Go time is go time. So he pitches an energy potion. It's going to look at the top of his deck, perhaps. No, he knows what he's doing. He's going Storm Striders, Crucible, and he's going to pop the Wildfire. Do we see a Metacarpus node trigger? We do see the Metacarpus node get played out. So Wildfire for 6. One of my favorite setups is the old Wildfire for 6. The buff here comes, it's natural 4 and then 1 from Metacarpus and 1 from Crucible. And Metacarpus is one of those cards that would be great if we could pull Metacarpus nodes up so that I can kind of walk you through how this functions. Metacarpus nodes is a funny little thing because when you read it the first time, you're like, cool, it's a one-time use. But actually, when you decide to use it, at the end of the turn, it will destroy itself. But until the end of the turn, on anything, any card that you play that deals arcane damage, you can pay a resource into, and it buffs it by 1. So if you have excess resources you can pour into these different cards that are dealing arcane damage, you're just popping for 1 extra from Metacarpus node. Now, the nice thing about doing Metacarpus node on Aether Wildfire is that by giving Wildfire excess damage, it's going to spill that damage over into the other arcane damage cards on the turn. And he's going to pitch here. He's going to get rid of the entire hand. Look, he had 2 reds, a yellow, and a no pitch on Sasha's last turn. That was his hand composition.
Yeah, so it's going to knock that Wildfire down to 4, but this might not be enough. We're just going to have to find out and play along.
Well, he's got,
here this turn.
I think he's got a 2-card hand, and if either of those or both of those are blues, there's a very real possibility that he just absolutely kills him right here. He's going to Ragamuffin's Hat first. He's going to Kano and then respond to it with Ragamuffin's Hat. So Ragamuffin's Hat triggers, draws him a card, and then he's going to put 1 card from his hand, of which there were 2 back on top, and he got a Lesson in Lava. He puts the Lesson he drew earlier. Lesson's going to come down, and by the way, Lesson is a 1 cost that will allow you to go search your deck for anything. And being able to crack the energy potion and pitch away a Sonic Boom, Lesson can come down. He's going to stack the Lesson on stack the Metacarpus node on the Lesson. Lesson's going to punch for a casual 8, the old casual 8,
which will get any card out of his deck
and put it on top of the deck. And he has, at this point, if you just go grab Blazing, Blazing will deal perhaps just the straight-up lethal because he has 2 resources from the energy potion and the Tunic trigger up. So there's your 3. You go and you get a Blazing off the top. Blazing goes on the top of the deck. You Kano it in. It comes in for 0, and then it will deal 12 plus an additional 4 for a nice little lethal pop.
And that looks to be like what it is. Energy potion pop. Tunic pop. That's 3 resources. It's going to activate the Kano. I see the fist ready to be extended here.
Actual exact lethal. I think it's actual exact lethal. Coming in for the casual 16. It's just chat lethal. It comes in destroying exactly perfect math. Perfect math. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is an example of this at work.